So we are saying average stock is EOQ divided by 2. From the word average, we are dividing by 2. Then holding costs per annum. You use the idea of ordering cost per annum to solve for holding cost. So it means that we have to bring in, we brought in ordering cost per unit, which is C. Here we have to bring in holding cost per unit. But this time we are multiplying with our average stock. Don't forget that Q divided by 2 is average stock. If we are dealing with holding cost, we are using average stock. Please, that's the shortcut. If you are dealing with ordering cost, you are not using average stock, you're using number of orders. And number of orders is D divided by Q. So that's the logic you can use in remembering it, please. Then the next one is length of inventory cycle. That is 52 divided by number of orders. So that if you are dealing on weeks, that is in weeks, that is 52 weeks, multiplied by the quantity all over D. Q divided by D is the upside down of this number of orders. So if you are dealing on months, you are looking at 12Q divided by D. The answer you get is in what? Months. What you're trying to calculate is length of inventory cycle. Now the next is total cost per annum. Your total cost per annum shall be the addition of your ordering cost per annum plus your holding cost per annum. So just bring in this your ordering cost, which is CDQ and HQ2. So this is CDQ and Q2. That will give us your what? Total what? Cost per annum. Now let's take an example. The demand for an item is 60,000 per annum. The cost of an order is 25 naira. That is to place one order, you are going to incur 25 naira. And holding cost per item is 2 naira per annum. That is to keep this item, one of these items in your warehouse, or to keep them in your store. You're going to be spending 2 naira per annum. You are required to find A, the number of orders per year, and the associated ordering cost. This is 2 in 1. So we're going to get the number of orders and the cost associated with what? Those number of orders. And we have our formulas all here to what? Help us with. Then next is the length of inventory cycle, which we can either represent in weeks or in months. Then we have total cost per annum, which is the addition of our ordering cost and holding cost. Now solution. The C, which is our ordering cost, is 25. We spelled it out here. Our D is demand. Note that demand must be per annum. In case the question gives you per week, multiply to get per annum. Then holding cost is 2 naira, which is this. Now we are going to use our EOQ function, our EOQ formula. We were not told to calculate EOQ, but we need our EOQ because, check it out, in determining the total cost per order, we need Q. In determining the length of inventory cycle, we also need Q. And this Q that we are talking about is EOQ. So we need to get EOQ first. I hope I'm communicating. Now, how do we get EOQ? EOQ, the square root of 2CD all over H, or you say the square root of 2 DO all over H. Now, once we square, we say 2 times, this C is our ordering cost, which is 25 naira per unit, multiplied by demand, which is our D. So if you multiply divided by 2, 2 is ordering cost. They are in money. This thing are in money. So please note. So once we multiply and we look for the square root, we are getting 1,225, which is our what? Q. To interpret this 1,225 simply means that the quantity that we need to order to minimize cost is 1,225 units or items. So number of order per year will now be what? Demand. You are ordering for how much? 60,000 units. And the number of order, the number of items in one order is 1,225. So if you divide the total order, the total demand divided by Q, we're supposed to be getting number of order, just like we see in our formula here, D divided by Q, which is demand divided by what? The quantity, which is quantity in one order. So what do we get? We get 49 orders. It simply means that we are going to be ordering 49 times. We are going to be ordering 49 times for that particular year. Because in a year, we are having 60,000 as demand. And for every order that we make, we are going to be receiving 1,225, which is our quantity. So demand divided by quantity is going to give us the number of times that we are going to place order in a year. Please, that is the logic. Now, if you get the number of times you need to place, remember the question says we should get the number of orders, which we have done as 49 orders. The question has said determine the associated ordering cost. If we know the number of orders, then we have to multiply it by how much do we spend per order. We are spending 25 naira per order, which is our ordering cost that we use here, 25 naira, as stated in the question. So the cost of an order is 25 naira. So if we multiply, it's going to give us the total amount that we spend on what? The total order for the year. So for 49 orders, which is per order, which is 25 naira, we are going to be spending 1,225 naira in a year. I hope that is clear, please. Now, we now move to length of inventory cycle, which is our requirement B. Length of inventory cycle states that 52 divided by 49, let's check our formula. 52 is the weeks. The formula says what? Divided by D. Q divided by D. So Q divided by D, I think we have done that before. Okay, we have to do that. Q divided by D. So if we do Q divided by D, what do we have? The answer we get is what we use to multiply our what? 52 weeks. And that's how we got 1.06 weeks. So please calculate from your own end the length of inventory cycle. The length of inventory cycle, which is that formula, then multiplied by 52, divided by 52 weeks. So that was how we got 1.06. So what we use is this formula. What we use is this formula. Please take notes. What we use is this formula. You can decide to use this formula to convert to months. It's left for you. Then the last part of it says that we should determine the total cost per annum. And I said to determine the total cost per annum, we have to add for, we have to compute for ordering costs and holding costs. And what is our formula for ordering costs? We'll plow back to this formula for ordering costs, which states what? CDQ. So we have to compute for this and compute for this. Then add both answers to get our total cost for the period. So that is how we got this. So the solution here may not be too express, but if you can solve for this and solve for this using the formula above, then you'll be able to get 61,225, which is the total cost that will be incurred to per annum on our inventory, to hold them and to order them. Is there any question? So that is the end concerning this particular topic. You can play around. I will send you the soft copy. You already have the material with you. Play around these multiple choice questions. Play around them. Most of these questions will be repeated. Then try and solve the question that follows. If you check here, it was solved here for us. So as you can see, order cost, ordering cost per annum plus ordering cost per annum. So the more you go through this question, you'll be able to see that this was spelled out for us. So they solved it here and solved this one here. And the answer that they got was 2,500, which is our total cost. So if you play around this particular question and answer, you'll be able to get more insight on how to go about solving questions on inventory management. In addition to that, check your past questions also and check how ICANN brings out questions regarding to inventory management. Inventory management, that's inventory control. Once you can solve those questions using the ideas of these formulas and how I explained it to you, you should be able to find your way around inventory control. I hope I've communicated. Thank you.